Okay, so for typography and fonts, I've added some new stuff today. We're going to try a quick little exercise. I'm going to show you how to use guides in Illustrator and then how to access different fonts. So one of the things that I like about this course is when we start talking about typography and like you can make a lot of artistic graphics using just text. So I like this example here where it's got the same words, but just the font alone will give kind of a different meaning. So as we scroll down, this image here just shows a lot of different styles. And why would you choose these different styles with typography? So what is typography? Typography refers to the appearance, style, and arrangement of text to maximize readability and appeal. This encompasses factors like letter and line spacing, font, color, and size. So when we get into a ton of detail, we're not going to get into this many different details when we're working in class because we're not designing our own fonts, but we will have an opportunity to change the kerning, which is the space in between the letters. And then we'll talk about some spacing, the difference between serif and sans serif fonts. So as you can see from the image above, typography has a complex set of terminology. We'll be focusing on the basic techniques you'll need to know to get started using typography in graphic design. So typefaces and fonts. There's two terms often used interchangeably, but there's a subtle difference between them. A typeface refers to the design of type, whereas a font is a variation on a particular typeface. So for example, you may use Arial, whereas Arial Bold and Arial Italic are both fonts. Therefore, a typeface can have many different fonts. So typeface is like the style. So often with a lot of different fonts, once we get to our character panel, our text and character panel, you get to choose which font, which typeface you want to use, and then which font style you want to use for that. So I'll let you read through this on your own, but serif and sans serif, what's the difference? So basically we're looking at this. So sometimes what's referred to as like the little tails, which may look make it look more just an old-fashioned style or a more official type of font, where sans serif looks maybe more modern. So this image here, we can click on this, and this will send us to an actual Adobe link here where it says picking the right font style, serif versus sans serif. Now I'm not going to go through this word for word because you can read this on your own, and I'll ask that you actually read through this on your own. Typography is basically word art. When you're designing with type, the typeface you choose tells a story. So that's really what I want you to take away from this, and we can see a lot of examples here, but I want you to read through this either today or on a day when you're ready to start this. So I want you to read through this before you start your second graphic design, your t-shirt design for this. So I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to keep this video short. So you'll read through this, but that's by clicking on this picture here. So I want you to create the example below using the guides and the text in the character panel. So I want you to click on this sample text, copy, and we are going to go to I'm going to pause this. Okay, so I just had to start up Illustrator and log in and everything, so I paused the video to do that. Now, when you're creating a brand new document, remember, we can go and we can pick some preset sizes. What I want you to do is I just want you to you'll call this one typography example. The width and the font, or sorry, the width and the height, I want you to change to, we're just going to make this one 8 inches by 8 inches. Okay, this thing's slow. Okay, so I wasn't paying attention here and I created multiple artboards, so I'm just going to edit these artboards. Okay, so I'll just delete those 4, and we're just going to keep the one that we set. So I want to see the size of this, so I'm just going to go. I can't see what size this is right here. So if I click on my artboard, we've got our width value at 8 and our height value at 8. We can change that in here. We can lock it in. So this is the size of the artboard. We're just creating one. Let's grab our text tool, and we copied that text that we want to use as our sample. And then we're just going to go Control V to paste that in. Now if I just click and drag to resize this, the problem with this is that I don't know now what size of font I'm using, and it looks all distorted. This isn't the way that whoever created this font, wasn't what they intended. So there's a couple ways of doing this. I can undo, cancel this. I can make my text size whatever I want by, I'll just paste this in. If I want to select all of this text, I can triple click to select it all. I can change the size of it here. I can change what type of font I want to use. Sorry, okay, so we can change our font style here. I'm just going to undo because this isn't what I wanted. So I'm going to click on the text tool. I'm just going to drag this area in here, and then I'm just going to go Control V to paste in what I want. So this bit of text that I want to use, so this might be my quote or my song lyrics for this next project, and I want this to all kind of fit in one space here, so I created that text box. I'm going to go and find my align panel. And I want to dock this right in here so I always have access to it, so it looks like these 2 bars here, and then I want to align it to the artboard, and I'm going to center align it there. Okay, so I want you to create this, except I want you to use your own fonts. So for each of these words, so this little bit of text here, it stands out. It is artistic. They've used a variety of bolds, italicized. They took this line here and just made the font size smaller. They made these ones larger, and there's some kerning that we can make some of the spacing in between these fonts smaller or larger. So there's tons of options here. I'm just going to go back to this. So one thing I might want to put in is guides. So I'm going to go with, I need to go View, and then on this drop down here, I'm going to go to Guides, and I want to make some guides. So it says it can't make a guide there, so I'm going to go View, and I want to go to Rulers. So I'm going to show my rulers. So up here, if I want to make these guides, I can click and drag. Okay, so when I click and drag, I can make these guides. So these aren't going to show up when I go to export this, but it'll help me with keeping all of my content in this area that I set aside. So I'm going to, so I've got the guide for the top left corner, but I might want to make another guide to the edge. So I don't want my text to go past this guideline here. So to make the one, there's no ruler at the bottom or no ruler on the right side, so I need to just grab that. So I just click anywhere on that ruler and I just drag it down and then I pick, and I can measure this out and change my spacing and everything. I just got to see where my video is at in terms of time. All right, so I just got a couple minutes left on this before it times out, but with this font, so I can double click here to select, so I want this word everything, and I want to change it to something else. So on my drop down here, I've got tons of options. It'll show me what the default ones are. As I scroll down, it shows samples of what this is. So I'm gonna pick this one here, and I can change the size of this. So in my character panel, I can change the size of that font. Now I don't want to go outside those guidelines. I can change the spacing. I can change those kernels in here. So under more options, now there's a lot of these default fonts here, but what's great about adding fonts in Adobe is they have so many fonts that come with the program, but after you've worked with fonts for a while, they start to look repetitive. So I'm going to go back to our website, and this link here that I provided to you, when you go to Adobe Fonts, there's tons of different fonts on here, and what you can do is you can activate a font. So what's great about when we're logged in, so we've logged into Illustrator, this is our account. If I've activated a font, then the font becomes available straight up in the program. So whether I'm using Illustrator or Photoshop, or I'm using Animate, I'm using any of the Adobe programs, once I've logged into it, this font is now going to become available. So this one here, I'm just going to pick this Carpenter one. So I'll view the pack. These are all free. So it shows an example of what it's going to look like. I'm just going to pick this quickly. Shackleton condensed. So I'm going to go view this family. And then I can toggle this on. I just have to log in. Okay, so I can do the italicized one of this. I can do the condensed one as well. And then when I go back to Illustrator, I select the line that I want. And then it'll have show activated fonts. And I've got a bunch that I've already activated, but this Shackleton, I can twirl open this to select that particular font there, which wasn't available in the program 2 seconds ago. Now I've activated that font, and I just got to see where this video is at. I think I've run out of time. All right, so I've got 60 seconds left here. So I'll go back to the sample. Okay, so I want you to make yours similar to this. So everything has got to be one font. That you need two, and then underneath that. But I want you to pick your own fonts from this. So this line here where it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 24 words. This line is going to be a lot smaller, but it's going to fit in that same kind of box that we've created with our guides. Okay, so I want you to try this today. Even if you're working on the original t-shirt graphic, I want you to try this today. On Monday, there's no classes. There's no Teams meeting. Tuesday, this group is back, and you'll get a chance to start your shirt graphic part 2, which you are using just as either song lyrics